Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias, Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Webbin.
And today we will be playing Part 8 of Final Fantasy X, stopping at the final save point in Sin, in front of the Tower of something or other.
Tower of Latria.
It's the big, shiny, pink tower that falls from the sky inside of a creature who shouldn't have towers or skies.
And it's the point of no return. And
It's interesting. It's the point of no return. I have one small point of contention, okay? Last week, I said there's not a point of no return. Then later you said, actually, you were wrong, there is. But I contend that if there's not a save point afterward, it's not a point of no return. Because you can't fuck yourself over.
I mean, true.
Because that's it, right? You can't get stuck.
that's
So,
true.
anyway,
If you wipe in there, you just end up at the last save point that you were at.
It's a pointless quibble. I just thought I'd share that is actually my own personal definition. I was like, no, point of no return means you can fuck yourself over if you save here, right? But no.
Yeah.
that
but
makes
luckily,
sense.
nothing after that point is that hard. So
Yeah,
we're good.
this one, this point of no return, it didn't feel like it when I was playing it, because I went and I beat the game. I cheated myself in the game, etc. But
Oh, I didn't cheat, but I beat the game.
like right after this, there is more like stuff before the boss fight. It's a pointless stuff. Like, doesn't really matter. It gives you a lot of good equipment just in case you suck really bad, which is nice. But
yeah, it literally is like, here's a bunch of good swords.
but it's like it's more of a mini game than anything. But it, like, when I've crossed this point of no return, I'm like, oh, there's still stuff. Let me tell Maddie. But it's one room of stuff, and then you fight the final boss. So it's.
No, I do agree with your point that it is strange. Like, they don't signpost like, hey, the end of the game is coming after this.
Yeah.
They don't even have a little cutscene where they're like, this is it, guys. The final battle or anything. Like, you just think it's just the next save point in the dungeon, as far as you know.
Yeah.
And then you walk ass first into the literal final boss.
It's like the save point isn't even like right before, like, it's not like right in front of the tower. Like, it is one screen before the tower. So it's like you have like dungeon stuff in front of you, and so you're looking forward into more stuff to do, but that's the final save point.
It's quite strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Sam, you have some exciting news for us.
We are playing Dragon Quest V.
We're playing Dragon Quest V: Hand of the Heavenly Bride, and I'm gonna scream.
It's so good. It will be Eli's first Dragon Quest, and we're so excited for him to finally understand what we're talking about.
It's so funny. I feel like if this had gotten voted on last time it got a chance, it might have been Sam's first Dragon Quest, but now it is certainly not.
No, I beat Dragon Quest 1 before we started recording the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just barely though.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought you played all. I thought your entire Dragon Quest experience was because I wouldn't shut up about it constantly.
I mean, yes, but we've been friends for longer than the podcast.
Right, but not specifically on the podcast. Got it. Yeah, and it'll be my first time replaying this game since I've only actually played the game once, even though it's like one of my favorites. It'll be my first time playing it since high school, which is the first time I played it.
Nice.
Did I ever replay it? No, I don't think so. It's a game I know well because I think about it a lot, and I've probably watched some videos, maybe some partial Let's Plays, maybe listened to some podcasts, maybe looked at some screenshots, but I have not actually played it since high school. So there we go.
Huh.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It is contended by most to be quote unquote the good one, and those people who agree are the people who are making the Dragon Quest movie, because it's based on this one and not Dragon Quest or any of the others. They skipped right to 5. So
if your favorite Dragon Quest is 3 or 11 or 7, then like, that's just your own fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Mine is 7, but like 5 is very. It's the most obviously great one. It's not hard to make a case for why it's good. You don't have to be a weirdo.
Yeah. And it's great. But before we get to all of that, how was everybody's week?
I was wrestling with playing the game yesterday.
Yeah.
As you two may recall.
Yeah, me and Sam accidentally confused Eli read this game.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Like the first nail in the coffin was, I can't remember who, but somebody was like, hey, make sure you have a zombie weapon or a celestial weapon because you can beat the final boss but not beat the game. And we were like, that's not true. You don't need any of that. Like,
yeah, luckily I was immediately like, I know for a fact that's not true.
Yeah, and so we were like, that's not true. And then we proceeded to be like, so which celestial weapon and how are you going to go get some zombie weapons? And
yeah, basically, you do not need to do fucking side quests, or if you do, it's for next week's boss at least.
Yeah.
But me and Sam did lots of side quests just for funsies. But we talked about it so much, Eli thought that he was like, oh, I have to do all these side quests or I'm going to get fucked. Also, Sam did find one boss very, very difficult. I didn't, but Sam did.
Yeah.
And because Sam said it was hard, I wasn't going to be like, no, it was easy. So,
good thing.
So because
good thing
of that,
Eli was like, no, it was easy. So it's just
finally,
so
once I got through it, I was like, oh, well, never mind.
Yeah. So at one point, Eli's on the Discord like, ugh, I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm not gonna be able to finish. I'm stuck on these stupid butterflies, and I'm like, whoa, back up. First of all, you don't need to be doing side quests. Second of all, you definitely don't need to be doing that side quest.
I didn't know, like, I was like, all these other celestial weapons are fucking impossible.
Yeah. They're all hard.
Yeah. At the end of this week's episode, I will give, not just for Eli's sake, but for the listeners, me and Sam can give a brief overview of what side quests one might want to do, either for funsies or if you are in fact under-leveled. We can give a brief overview at the end of that. Because, spoiler alert, it's not collecting butterflies.
Yeah, don't do that one.
Unless you're the one person who has been really buffing up Kimari the whole game.
Yeah, you somehow, like, Game Sharked in a triple AP weapon to him at the beginning, so he's good. But
I mean, honestly, I wish that I could have just Game Sharked my way through this game.
Yeah.
It's been very stressful at times.
Sam kind of did.
I definitely did.
yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But
it was to the point where I was just talking about my cheating real quick. I was like, Eli, if you need to cheat, I'll just give you my Steam copy so you can just cheat yourself at the game.
So not only did I have that, and I spent like an hour and a half doing that, I had a recording, and I stopped the recording, and right afterwards the fucking power went out.
Yikes.
And it
I heard it's been storming down there,
Yeah, it was really, really stormy yesterday. And I thought, I was like, oh, thank goodness the power went out before or after I hit the stop button. Well, no, it didn't save that hour and a half of side quest footage that I got. So you know what? Fuck it.
Fuck side quests.
Fuck side quests. No one needs to know that I did that. Except you all listening now, but you can pretend I didn't.
Yeah.
Here's my Dragon Quest inspired opinion. Side quests are bad, actually. Games shouldn't have them.
And then when my PlayStation restarted and yelled at me for not turning it off properly, because, of course, it's my fucking fault, I couldn't get it to connect to the PlayStation 4 remote again. Turns out that when it started back up, it couldn't find the NAT type, and it just said failed. So all I had to do was restart the PlayStation, but I spent like a good 20 minutes fucking with it, thinking like, oh my god, everything's broken, I'm never going to be able to record a PlayStation game again. My life is horrible.
They should just make the power not go out.
Yes.
Like, why is that?
I have solar. I have solar. Why is it that it doesn't like work as like a backup generator or something?
Right. It's wild. But
if I were Austin, I would simply not let my power go out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Just don't let the power go out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my exciting day.
Yeah. What about you, Maddie?
I had a very emotional week for a variety of reasons, some of which y'all are aware of, some of which y'all aren't aware of. Out of respect for the people involved, I'm not going to elaborate. But lot of emotions, a lot of depression. I had a lot of depression happening before the actual thing that I'm sad about. I guess that depression was just like
generalized
for fun depression.
Yeah.
And then I was finally getting out of the depression. It was like really nasty, like the worst depression I've had since fucking October. I don't know. I don't know why. It just got worse and worse and worse. I was in a big spiral. And then it started to get better. And then something happened to actually make me depressed. And then I bought tickets to go see the Avengers tomorrow at IMAX at 8 a.m.
Nice.
Because that's the only good time I can do it. Turns out a 3-hour movie is sometimes hard to fit into your schedule.
Weird.
Like, no, I can't see it at 10 p.m. because that's too late for me. I usually go to bed at like 2, but like that's dicking around. That's not watching a movie.
Yeah.
Right. Also, like, I had to wake up early today because of this podcast we're currently recording.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but luckily I have a movie buddy. I hit up an acquaintance of mine. Was like, hey, you want to watch the movie with me? You want to come over the night before, play some Super Smash Bros, crash on my couch, and then see the movie at 8 a.m. And she's like, yeah, that all sounds great.
Perfect.
So I'm looking forward to that. Abso-fucking-lutely. Damn. I mean, y'all know I'm not even the hugest fan of these damn movies, but like, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be 3 hours long. All the reviews are saying, the worst reviews are saying, like, it's still a fun time, and it's big, and it's loud, and the best reviews are saying, like, it fucking owns.
Nice.
So I feel like, even worst case scenario, I'm gonna have a good-ass time tomorrow morning.
Yeah. And in a similar mirror of things, I will not be able to watch Avengers until next Tuesday, but Maddie will not be able to read Homestuck until next Tuesday. And so both of us just have to be tight-lipped about our favorite things. Well, I mean, you just haven't read Homestuck yet, and I'm finished.
Oh, right.
So I just have to... I have to not say Homestuck things until you finish, and then you have to say not say Marvel things until I can go and watch it.
And then next week, instead of talking about Final Fantasy X, we can just yell at each other about Homestuck and
Marvel.
Avengers.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave.
Be like, hi.
Yep, we'll be
Guess
live.
I'll die.
We'll be live on Twitch and we'll be like, hi, so we killed Sin, the end. Okay, Marvel.
Eli, if only you could see me in Sam's DMs, you would know how much percentage of our Homestuck conversation you don't hear.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Also I played the entire original Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic video game. I've played it like 2 or 3 times already. If you're ever in a well of depression, randomly playing the Legend of Zelda is a good way to go.
Yeah. First one's good.
That's me.
I can't do original Nintendo games anymore. I don't know why. Maybe because I started with a Super Nintendo and I never really was any good with original Nintendo games in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I've tried playing them on my Switch since I have a membership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I am god awful at them.
Oh, they're all hard.
It's a tough game.
Yeah. There is the cheat versions of a lot of games. I think the Zelda
Those
ones
are very interesting.
I think the Zelda ones, they put you at the final boss, which like sucks. Like the Metro.
That's not that fun. Yeah.
No, I think you can play the whole game still. You just have all the stuff already.
Yeah, if it gives you all the stuff already, playing the whole game, like that could be a good like easy version. But some of them are like.
TBH though, personal opinion, I feel like that would make it worse. Because here's the thing. Zelda 1, in my opinion, and this, I'm not trying to say y'all like suck or are bad at games, I'm just saying, in my opinion, having played the game a few times, it's not stupendously hard, actually. You're playing Dungeons 1 through 5, and I'm like, I remembered it being harder. Then you get to Dungeon 6, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then you play 7 and 8, and you're like, The point is, Dungeon 9 is outrageously hard, and if you're playing the entire game, then by the time you get to Dungeon 9, you're prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
If they give you every single item in the game, and then you play Dungeon 9, it's going to be even harder because you haven't built up the skills.
Yeah.
So you're going to be like, this game's impossible. No. This would be a lot less impossible if you had gotten here and built your skills. Because the thing is, if you play the game naturally, like the way that a normal person would play it without cheats, you have every item by the time you get to the final dungeon. So that's not really making it easier.
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean? They're just skipping past the part where you learn how to play the game. So then I feel like anyone playing the game that way would be like, good lord, this game's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because it's Dungeon 9 is
What
old
they
Nintendo games often have big difficulty spikes right at the end.
Oh yeah.
what they should do, and they won't ever. I think Super Mario All Stars is the only time they've ever done this. Is just make a 1-to-1 remake of something and just make it modern, like Dragon Quest did. Like Dragon Quest does constantly, and like
Zelda 1 with like what's it called, like Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Curse or whatever.
Yeah.
With that kind of graphics would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it for Link's Awakening.
Yeah. So
they are, and I love it.
That one, and that's because like most of the other HD versions have been like the same game, just rendered at 1080p and with a new filter on it. But this one, they are remaking it from scratch. So hopefully this one does great, and then they do it for all the others.
I would love that. Yeah, and maybe make it like, a little bit easier, a little bit more streamlined. The idea isn't that it should be easier; it's that the old Nintendo games don't have any other options.
Yeah.
Like, there's no variety in play. So you can either be good at the one thing or not.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I can't beat it this way, but look at this item. I could use a different skill set because everyone's different. So just adding more variety, adding more options would make it more accessible.
Yeah,
to people
like
who can't just be good at moving around and stabbing.
Like, just off the top of my head, I think 8 directional movement and a dedicated interact and sword button, and then you have your 2 item buttons for the other face buttons. Like, that's all I think it really needs besides like graphics.
Yeah.
Like,
or like small changes, like make the magic wand actually, like, there's a lot of enemies that the magic wand and or bow doesn't damage.
Yeah.
So like change that. Make it where like, oh, the magic wand hurts this enemy now, so you don't just have to stab them. Okay, that makes the game a lot easier. Shit.
Yeah, something like that.
And more fun because you get to, I don't know, use your tools.
Yeah. Anyhow, we've done like 20 minutes on Zelda.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Let's get the fuck started.
Yeah.
Or wait, Sam, you didn't share about your week. What's going on with you?
I've been depressed, but in the fun way, because Homestuck is mean to all of my children.
Nice.
And that's all I'll say.
I got to read those Homestuck epilogues. I bet it's gonna be great.
It's so good.
I'm excited about it being good. Homestuck is good. I fucking stan. Okay.
Okay. Good.
So anyway,
Final Fantasy.
plot of this damn game. So when we last left our heroes, we had just killed the Virgin Mary, and now we're gonna go kill Jesus. No, we killed Unalesca and fucked up the way that everyone defeats sin, and we're saying that the ritual is stupid, and we're gonna kill sin our own way. So, on the way out of Xanarkand, Auron pulls Goku aside and is like, "Okay, so basically I'm Ghosty," and Goku's like, "Yeah, I figured. I'm capable of noticing foreshadowing." Auron says that what happened was he couldn't deal with what had happened with him and Jecht and all that. So after it all went down, he later went back and tried to kill Unalesca, or like argue with her and yell at her. But she killed him, and his ghost barely made it down Gagazet, where he found Kimahri and told Kimahri to go and get Yuna and all that kind of stuff. But hey, he managed to eventually ride Sin and get inside of Sin. Ride and get inside of. And eventually he did go and get Goku. We see a flashback of Jecht asking Auron to take care of his idiot kid who can't take care of himself. Also, Auron is like, the hell do I get to Xanarkand? And Jecht's like, figure it out, lol.
Right.
Which is, it's really cool how we don't address that. Like, Auron's a badass. He apparently just figured out how to do that.
And how he did it was like, oh, this Godzilla that's terrorizing everyone that I know? I'm going to jump on its back and just see what happens.
Yeah. Gonna ride it.
Yeah, he fucking rules. So, you go outside the arena?
Oh.
It's Sin!
So having gotten this far and also beaten it does, like, the twist re Tidus doesn't really come up, especially in relation to Jecht. But I wonder if that's how Auron was able to go into Xanarkand, because he was riding a Sin that was from that Xanarkand. And so that's why in the 1,000 years before, Xanarkand had never gotten blown up in its double death dream bubble. But this time it did because Jecht was from there, so he could go back in.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder.
Right. Also, like, I mean, the game doesn't make this explicit, so I could be wrong about this because the game doesn't say super clearly, but the way I'm reading it is that, like Dream Bubble Xanarkand is, like, kind of inside of Sin.
I didn't read it that way at all.
Not, like, literally, because you go inside of Sin, and it's not there. But when you go inside of Sin, it kind of looks like Xanarkand. Like, there's Xanarkand-esque bits of it. So, like...
Yeah, but I took that as, a reflection of Jecht, and not...
Yeah, maybe.
Xanarkand itself.
Well, also, like, Yu Yevon is summoning Xanarkand.
No, the faith... on Mount Gagazet before are the ones summoning Xanarkand.
I think it's both. They go on and on about how Yu Yevon is summoning something, and they never say what it is.
No, they say that
when you kill him,
Yu Yevon is how summons work, and so when he's gone, all the summons are gone, not just Xanarkand.
I guess that's true,
but
I think it includes Xanarkand. Anyway, I don't know. I just think that he went inside the dream bubble. Whatever. Yeah. He did it somehow.
Yeah. Magic, it never says.
Yeah. They don't explain the lore super detailedly, which I think is cool, but also it's just like, how does it work?
Yeah.
Aaron is cool. That's how it works. Anyway, we get outside the arena, and it's Sin. He's just kind of looming. He and Goku look at each other, and Goku says, not literally, but he says metaphorically, I'm gonna kick your ass, Dad. And then Sin leaves.
No, it's actually better than that. He doesn't say, I'm going to kick your ass. He goes, I'm sorry, I'll figure it out. Like, I know I was supposed to kick your ass, and I failed, so give me a sec. And so Sin walks away to give him a sec.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah.
At this point, Goku goes around and talks to everyone to figure out what the hell to do now. Eli goes out and does a bunch of side quests. You talk to everyone. You have a cute scene with Yuna. She's basically like, yeah, I was expecting to be, like, dead at this point. I hadn't thought about anything past that, so I have no idea what to do right now or with my life. She's very adrift right now, which, again, makes sense. Her whole life had been about doing one thing, and now that thing is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not dead. But she's also probably low-key pretty chill with not being dead, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Kimari says the answer has something to do with Yevon, both inside and outside of the teachings. Then he says, "AKA, let's go kick Maester Mika's ass."
Mm-hmm.
Waka and Riku have an idea, or maybe Lulu has the idea. It's a cute scene. Jecht really likes the Hymn of the Faith, so what if we just blast the song? Like, the best way to spread spear and cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
It's like South Korea and North Korea.
What are you talking about?
South Korea will blast music at North Korea like the border.
That owns.
Kind of rules. Also in World War II, the Soviets in Leningrad, when they were being blockaded by the Nazis, they blasted Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony at the Nazis.
Nice.
Which, yeah, it was the premiere of his symphony, and they had microphones at the premiere, basically live streaming it. And they were blasting it through loudspeakers all throughout the entire city. And the day before the premiere, they kind of did a little bit of a salvo of, like, cannons at the Nazis. Like, y'all better not fucking attack us tomorrow. Yeah, apparently it was a big morale booster for the city. So yeah, that's the situation. Then we go to the High Bridge of Bavel, which is that one little quote-unquote dungeon. It's a hallway with a safe point on either end.
Yeah.
You go there, and you're about to murder even more people, just straight up killing people. But then Shalinda shows up. And she's like, hey, guards, don't kill them. Yuna's not a bad traitor anymore. That was actually a sneaky rumor started by the evil Al Bed.
And I love this part because the soldiers are just like, oh, okay, and Riku almost blows it, just being like, what'd you say, you racist fuck?
Yeah, and then she's like, also, everything's in total chaos. Also, they made me captain of the guard yesterday?
our poor little Shalinda, just captain of the guard.
She has no idea what's going on. She's just a good little girl who just wants to do her best.
Right. And I love that, like, the party realizes that, because, like, here in a second, after Mika sends himself because he says, fuck this, she comes in, and everyone's just like, no, it's okay, he's just taking a while. Why don't you just, like, work on things while he's gone?
Yeah, they're, like, protecting poor little Shalinda's heart. She can't take it. Auron realizes what's going on here. Yuna is Master Micah's only hope. Before, he was like, we gotta get Yuna, she's a traitor. Now that he's like, oh fuck, I'm completely losing control of everything. Everything's unraveling. The only hope is that Yuna will defeat Sin, and perhaps, like, you know, like, bring the people back together again. Fuck! So I'll just make up a racism so that she's not a traitor anymore. Making up a racism to distract from your own problems, that's not something that's ever happened.
Right?
No, not at all.
So you have an audience.
It's not like we were just talking about World War II about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. Maester Micah is like, what the hell? Why are you here and not using the final Aeon to defeat Sin? Yuna's like, yeah, no, we killed her. We killed Yunalesca. Mika's like, fuck, you fucked up. This is real bad, folks. Yu Yevon, second time we've heard that name, Yu Yevon's death spiral, or spiral of death, will consume us all. Oh, BT dubs, Yu Yevon is the reason all this is happening. He's just this bad guy. Sin is actually just like a giant armor to protect Yu Yevon so that he lives forever. He's the one who keeps making Sin come back because he needs his armor to be immortal. Yeah, that's what's going on here, by the way. Then he says, I have no desire to see all this suffering happen, so, well, bye.
Peace!
And then he just ollie outies.
He literally sins himself. It's great.
He literally sins himself. He's just like, this is a bad situation, y'all. I don't want to see this shit.
I'd rather be actually dead.
I'd rather be dead. Yeah. It's a really funny scene, actually.
I laughed my ass off.
You don't even get to kick his ass. He's just like, I'll kick my own ass. I don't give a fuck.
Well, and then Tidus yells at him like, oh yeah, just go and disappear on us.
Yeah. Ghost Kid shows up and you chat. Yu Yevon used to be a summoner. He was the most powerful Jedi ever. But it's been so long, he's like lost his conscious mind. He's not alive or dead or asleep or awake or good or evil. He just exists to do the summoning. He just exists to do summons.
But people
the kid says,
pretend like he's God, apparently.
Yeah, the kid says, when you fight Yu Yevon, we will help you. Which, we're confused about what that means. And when it's all over, he reminds Goku, when it's all over, the Faith Stream will end. Goku's like, yeah, I know. And Yuna is like, what are y'all talking about? A little bit later, Yuna's like, Goku, you're hiding something. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then she's like, you're a bad liar.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool because she's like, you're a bad liar, but obviously, like, you've never hidden anything from me before, so I know it's, like, a big deal, so I'm not going to hold it against you.
Yeah. She's like, okay.
She's valid.
Here, Shalinda's like, I can't find Mr. Mika anywhere. And they're like, yeah, he's just, he's out. Just wait. He'll be back.
He definitely
also,
didn't just send himself.
Yeah. Also, by the way, when you hear a flying ship playing the Hymn of the Faith in the sky, tell everyone in the entire world to sing along with it. That way we can have lots of Christmas cheer. And she's like, okay. So she goes off to send it, I guess, a telegram to the entire world.
Yeah.
After that point, all that's left to do is Waka apologizes to Sid for being racist. And Sid's just like, I used to be racist too. It's fine. And everyone's a little bit racist sometimes, as they say. And then we decided to go and kick Sin's ass. At this point, you can go around and do all kinds of side quests, blah, 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 blah. There actually are a number of interesting story scenes as well. I'm going to share a couple of them at the end of this week, just because a bit of it is like a little bit of world building stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it's just, it's just fun flavor. It's people saying, "Did you hear that we're supposed to sing the song? What's a flying ship? What's that?" Or like, oh, the church is in turmoil. Just NPC shit, right? It's nice. It's characterful. You get to see how every different culture is reacting to the situation, but it's what you'd expect. So most of it I won't bother. Although I might go back and look again for next week to see if there's anything really, really juicy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, time to face down Sin. Everyone is singing the song, this Hymn of the Faith. It's a very elaborate arrangement. It's a different version than we've heard before, and it's got some different parts to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
This is like in I don't know if you guys have ever read a Southern Baptist hymnal, but like you'll go to one of the hits and you'll be like, all right, I know verse 1 of There's Power in the Blood, and I know verse 3 of There's Power in the Blood, but what the heck is this verse 2 that's in here? No one's ever sang this before. That's what just happened.
Yeah.
We have those in Unitarian Universalist hymnals as well. There's one song that, like, there's 3 verses, but most churches only ever sing the 3rd verse, and so when you look it up in the hymnal, you're like, what the hell? There were others?
The words?
I was thinking it's more like in church when, like, it's a special situation, like it's Easter or Christmas or just some sort of special ceremony, like some special occasion, and they have either an ad hoc choir. In my church, we don't really have a choir, but we do sometimes, or like they always have a choir, but it's like, okay, fellas, we're bringing out the big guns this time. So instead of like the normal version of When I Survey the Wondrous Cross, they've got some like beautiful modern like sort of atonal arrangement of it by like, or not atonal, but like they got some super like modernistic version of it composed by like Benjamin Britten with all these really nice like pedal tones and chord changes and stuff like that, and you're like, damn.
Right.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Church is getting real.
Yeah, like I guess every temple in Spiro was like getting out their nice sheet music for their really fancy version of the song. So everyone's singing it. Goku briefly. So they're on the bridge now of the ship. What's the ship called?
Oh, it's called...
It's got a name. The ship's always got a name.
I don't remember.
It's like, I want to say it's like the Leviathan or something, but that sounds really wrong when I was putting my words around that sound.
That's from Knights of the Old Republic.
No, Knights of the Old Republic is the Ebon Hawk.
It's the Thames.
No. I mean, that's the ship that you get captured by in Knights of the Old Republic.
But also, it's a very common ship name.
Yeah, no, it is. Anyway, I don't remember. Whatever. They're on the bridge, or not on the bridge, on the deck, and which is really more like the top.
It's the Fahrenheit.
The Fahrenheit?
Yep, not even making that up.
Wow.
Or the what's it called? Indigo Prophecy in America. So Goku shows Yuna that sphere that she dropped earlier, the one where she has her final goodbyes, and he's like, "Hey, look what I got!" And she's like, "What the fuck?"
I love her animation when she does the like triple pat, like, "Oh, you have it?"
Yeah, she like pats herself down, like, "Where is it?" I'm like, "Dude, this thing is enormous. You really probably should know if you have it or not." He's like, "Hey, you don't need this anymore, right?" And then he just fucking yeets it off the deck.
It's great.
And Yuna kind of looks at him like she's shocked, but then she's just like, okay.
Yeah, because it's like her last will and testament type thing, and like that plan has changed. So I get that she doesn't need it, but it's really cool.
A little bit of denial of agency there, but also it's like he's right.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, if you're in a relationship with someone and you really know them, sometimes you can do things that from the outside might look not okay, but it's like, no, we know how this works.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. He just is a weird guy. At this point, there's a whole bunch of FMVs with a bunch of really cool graphics. Sin does a bunch of shit. He's destroying shit. He's flying around. It's whatever. You decide to blow. Goku says, if we can't get in through its mouth, we'll blow it. It will blow him a new one. First, you fight Sin's left fin. Then you fight his right fin. Then you fight some kind of core. Y'all have any trouble with this?
No, you just blow him up.
Yeah.
I had Ultima
easy.
on both of my overpowered as fuck mages, so I just blew
I didn't
him
have
up.
that stuff yet, but yeah, you just hit him.
The part that I was worried about was the core and the thing behind it. I didn't read far enough, and I was getting really worried at that point because you don't get to heal in between these fights.
Yeah. All in a row.
So I was like running out of ethers, and Lulu basically had her magic exhausted because I was using Ultima on her, which I realized later. I was like, I shouldn't have been double casting Ultima because, like, her...
That's 180 MP, like, right away.
Yeah, and her other high-level spells, because she's got a weapon that gives her double magic power, which doubles her mana use.
You have the booster? Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got a booster weapon. I saved up when I was going through... It was from Wants, or whatever his name was. Rin's brother. Or no, Owaka's brother. Sorry, not Rin's.
Yeah, I think Wants is his name,
yeah, I did a bunch of grinding in Mount Gagazet and managed to get it. I got Riku's with alchemy, too.
Badass.
But, yeah, so I realized I should have just been double casting, like, Faraga or something.
Yeah, right, because I'm sure you're hitting the damage cap anyway, right?
Yeah, with Ultima, oh yes. But then, like, when the core and the thing in front of it, it's called like a genese or something. I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced.
It's one of the synth spawn we fought way early in the game.
Yeah,
it was one of the first
cool
ones
actually
we did.
bring back. It's like, oh, mechanically, this is the same thing that we fought outside of Kilika Temple. That's cool.
Yeah, well,
you remember how that strategy worked? It's the same.
Yeah. So I didn't read far enough in the guide, but I did a grand summon for Bahamut because I was like, I just want to fuck this over if I can. And so I just picked a winner, and I was like, I guess I'll attack the thing in front. Because, I don't know, it seems like a better option to just attack things that are in front. Thankfully, it was the correct choice. And Bahamut's overdrive almost killed it. It brought it, like, to 420 health. And
nice.
Yeah, and then...
Blaze it.
Yeah, yeah, and then I smacked it once and it was dead, and I was like, okay, well, the fight is exponentially easier now, apparently, because, and I don't know why this guide is never telling me to summon stuff, because the summons are incredible.
Yeah.
One thing that I like about this game is, honestly, if you're ever stuck on something, you can kind of just cheat the game by running around in a circle for a while, getting all of your summons as overdrives all the way up, get Grand Summon, and then just do all of your summons and all of their overdrives. Like,
yeah.
I actually never really did that, but I was always prepared to do it. Like, I was prepared to do that, and then I would fight a boss, and I'd beat him without it, and I'd be like, okay, I didn't need to do the kind of cheat. But it's not a cheat. It's like, it's cool. It's like, yeah, this is what you can do if you're having trouble with the game.
Yeah. I had a... with Unalesca, her whole middle phase, I just had Shiva, like, heal herself until she had overdrive, use her overdrive, then heal herself until she had overdrive again. And that's kind of just how you do it. But this next fight that we're about to get to, there's a tiny scene with Yuna before, but we'll get to that in a second because I just want to talk about this. So you fight the face of Sin, and you have 16 turns to do it. The balancing factor for the summons being so overpowered is that they take like 11 turns to come back from their overdrive. So I was like, well, I died on Sin's face the first time, and I came close. So the second time, I'll just use summons. And so I did a grand summon, and everything was cool. And then he came up and like hit me in the face the first time. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. So don't do it on this one fight, but the rest of the time, just summon.
Yeah, so you beat the core. There's more FMVs. Sin like crash lands near Bavel. But they know they're like, did we just kill it? And they're like, well, no, it's gonna regenerate. I think someone was like, if it was this easy, the Crusaders would have done it by now.
Right.
So they're like, it's gonna regenerate. Time to go inside of it. You get to play again. You can go back and do side quests more if you want. There's a brief scene with Yuna. Basically, she and Goku are just talking about the situation. She realizes that she realizes that when she first summons the final Aeon, or generally what happens when you summon the final Aeon, it's small. So Yevon jumps its like psyche into the final Aeon, but it's still baby, right? So you can just kill the baby. But then if we kill that, it'll like just maybe jump to another Aeon.
No, she says when you make the final Aeon, he jumps into it. So if she summons her Aeons, it'll jump into those, but they'll still be small, so we can probably kill it then, is what she says.
Right. She's hypothesizing. Yeah, like that's what happens, is Yevon just jumps from Aeon to Aeon to Aeon. I think it's more clear what she's saying if you're me and Sam, and you've already seen the scene where all this happens.
Well, no, I read it that way when I was there.
Okay, well, aren't you smart? Also, she kind of has a hunch Goku's a dream. She's really, really intuitive to figure this out, I guess. But she's like, hey, promise you won't disappear. And he's like,
I'll promise something.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of graphics. A lot of cool FMVs. You beat Sin's Fromp, and you go away ways. Which is to say you go inside of his mouth. Inside of Sin's mouth is a amazing Technicolor dungeon.
Yeah.
Also, as you're flying through this like galaxy world, a giant flaming Seymour face shows up, and everyone's like, "Oh right, Seymour's still a thing."
Shit.
Seymour.
We've had almost as many Seymours as we've had actual Final Fantasies. It's an interesting parallel.
You go through the dungeon. It's kind of an annoying dungeon. You don't get a mini map. You have to just like figure out
discover
what way the map's going. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, which like is a cool twist on the fact we've had a mini map this whole time. It would have been a better twist in something where you could see the walls and the floors, and not just like endlessly bump around and fight through all the fights that show up.
It's the same thing as my literal least favorite gimmick in modern 3D Mario games, which are, almost unequivocally excellent. But in 3D World and 3D Land, there will be these ghost house levels where it's like, yeah, you can only see the floor immediately around you, and you have to just kind of poke at the edges to figure out which direction the platform's going in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Same thing here. So you go through the dungeon. Pro tip for those of you at home, if you haven't gotten to this point yet, one reason you should get inside of Sin as soon as possible instead of doing any side quests is that once you get inside of Sin, you get outrageous amounts of AP.
Yeah. Like the bosses, the mobs do feel like mini bosses. Like they're all huge, but they all have a gimmick. So do the gimmick and win.
They're almost all not that hard. They also all give you. We're talking. Everyone's going to get one level every battle, basically.
Fuck King Behemoth, though.
Like,
fuck
skip
the
King
Behemoth.
Yeah.
If you happen to have double AP on your weapons or overdrive to AP, you could be gaining like 4 levels in one battle. It's insane. Your characters are going to go from fine to OP as shit by the end of this dungeon. especially if you're me and you have Aaron, or Lulu, or sorry, Yuna in my opinion, in my case, because Lulu doesn't have damage break. What was I gonna say? Yeah, King Behemoth is dangerous. What happens when King Behemoth dies is he summons Meteor on death, which will wipe your party.
Yeah, if you don't remember, Meteor is the plot device from Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VII. So he
Meteor
literally sends two of the best Final Fantasies at you when he dies.
So how are you supposed to? How are you even supposed to deal with that? Like pull out a summon at that point?
You can finish him off with the summon, or like by the time I was going through it at the end, his Meteor did like 3,000 damage, and I had 4,000 health, so I just made sure I killed him when I had full health.
If you have like Aaron out, and maybe he has like Mighty Guard on him, or he has like Shell on him, you should be fine. Also, actually, this only happened to me once, so I could be wrong, but I'm wrong a lot. But I'm pretty fucking sure of this. Here's the thing: when he used Meteor on me and killed me, I was surprised. I had forgotten, and the reason is I had already fought him once before, and the time before when I fought him, he hadn't done that. So I was like, "Wait, he didn't do that before," but I'm just now realizing that's weird. Here's what I think happened. I think if you capture him, he doesn't use it.
See, I haven't done any monster capturing stuff.
Because I was in a new area, I had the monster catcher weapons on my characters. So yeah, I think if you kill him with a capture weapon, he doesn't do it. So those are all a variety of ways you can do it, and he does give bitchin AP. Or you just summon a summon to tank it. It'll either kill them, or honestly, it won't even kill all the summons. It'll only kill some of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, not too bad. But I just ran away instead. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, you have to change too much of your playstyle, and you're like, well, I can just get in the next battle. It's fine.
Exactly. I'll just get the next one. Yeah. Another little tip: if you do go to the optional dungeon in this game called the
Omega Ruins,
you get even more absurd amounts of AP. Not a ton more than Sin, but it is even more. So, if you just need to do some leveling up, get to Sin or the Omega Ruins as soon as possible. Omega Ruins is harder; the enemies are tougher, so probably going to want to go with Sin. But yeah, don't log on that. Nothing else you can do is going to be as effective as just gaining 4 levels per battle.
Yeah, at some point I'm just going to run around the save sphere at Sin.
Yeah.
Cool. So just some little tips there. So that's almost it for the week. You run through Sin. It's just a dungeon. It's got some graphics. You get to the end and you see Seymour.
What?
It's the Final Fantasy Seymour.
Nice.
I just thought of that.
In your fantasy Seymour, dream about me more and all that we could do with this emotion. So anyway, you get to a big landing, like a big flat, large area, and in the back is these 3 giant like rune wheels, and I'm like, I wonder if a boss battle is about to happen. And you see Seymour standing there, and he doesn't even say anything. Like in my notes, pre-battle. Literally, who cares? he just says. He's like, his voice acting has changed to show that he's like just totally crazy now.
Yeah.
He's like, he says something like, I have become one with sin. And Titus goes, he just absorbed you, dude.
You
and
got
then Seymour
eaten.
goes, no, with time I will learn to control it. I will do the blue ending from Mass Effect 3. And Goku's like, yeah, right, you dumbass. And then Seymour's like, okay, I'm gonna kill you. Remember, death is good, actually. That's it. You fight him. The battle is really not hard. He's got this weird gimmick.
Like, his gimmick would make it hard if he didn't start with one of the level... Like, it costs 2 MP for Yuna to just completely nullify everything he does. So then you don't get hit except once per turn and then on the ultimate turn. So, heal and kill him. The end.
Yeah. You heal, you kill him. He uses Ultima, which really does kick the ever-loving fuck out of you. If you happen to be underleveled enough to not have enough HP to withstand Ultima, you just summon a summon to take it.
Yeah.
Tank it. So, like, it's fine. The music Did y'all know that Nobuo Uematsu is one of the composers in this game?
I had no idea.
The music goes all the fucking way, Uematsu. It is like the synth keyboards are going meatily. The guitars are going squeedily. The drums are... It's just the most fucking prog rock Uematsu song ever. It's incredible. I love it with my entire heart. It's a great piece of music. And that's all there is to it, especially in a game that is so defined by the much more sophisticated music of Masashi Hamauzu. Mm-hmm. Getting to hear just a fucking Final Fantasy IX ass Uematsu boss battle theme is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. After the battle, there's a really funny scene where Seymour gives a little bit of a post-battle death speech where he's like, even after you send me, Spirit of Sorrow will prevail. No one really cares. Like, no one even responds to him. I think he's like, after you beat me, it'll still be bad. And Tidus is like, yeah, we're gonna go kill Sin too, though. Yeah. And then Yuna sends him, and he dies. Yeah. What do y'all think about Seymour?
He was interesting.
So when he started, I thought he was Sephiroth. But it turns out he's Ultros.
Yeah, he's like a weird mixture of Sephiroth and Ultros. I think that he gets less interesting as the game goes on. On one hand, I get it. He's not the main villain. The main villain is Sin, and this world, and this religion, and also Tidus' relationship with his dad. Seymour is just some dipshit who thinks he's cool, but he's not, and I get that. On the other hand, wouldn't it be cool to have two great villains and not just one?
Yeah.
Also, someone pointed out online, I can't believe I didn't think about this, that he's supposed to be a foil to Yuna because they're both mixed race.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
They're both mixed race, and they both had somewhat troubling childhoods with their loved one dying, right? But they handled it in very different ways. Yuna is... And, Yuna deals with the fact that, like, they're both like, oh, everything's a lie. Everything is fake. This whole situation is bullshit. But they go different ways with it. Yuna goes with it in an optimistic way, and he goes with it more in a nihilistic way. But, yeah, it didn't end up being as interesting as it could have been.
Yeah. I agree. I think that he was a better character at the start. And he just kind of, like... The more we saw of Seymour, the more I was like, okay, I'm tired of you.
Yeah.
I think that his plan wasn't that interesting.
Yeah. Like,
his plan of just, become Sin and kill everybody, that's just Kefka.
Yeah. That was what it was reminding me of for a lot of it was...
He had the same personality, but a more interesting and detailed, maybe a little more lore-y kind of plan. Like, maybe he wants to establish a more severe dictatorship,
Yeah.
Or something that is not just nihilistic, something like, this is my solution to the problem that we're all in. And then he and Yuna could have bounced off of each other.
Kefka just wanted to see the world burn.
What I wish would have happened, because I realize he's not Sephiroth and he's not Ultros and he's not Kefka. He's Ramses from Xenogears, where the game starts and you're like, the bad guy is Sin. And then you're like, oh, okay, the bad guy isn't actually Sin, it's Seymour, and he's using Sin to do a thing. And then you take care of his thing, and you're like, oh no, back to plan A, Sin is still the bad guy, and then we get Yevon. So he's kind of like a double fake out for the fake final boss trope. But Ramses, after we realize that he's not important, Ramses then doubles down on weird character stuff, and Seymour just kind of repeats the last thing he said while he was alive about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, Ramses had this whole like arc and was a really interesting character. Where, Seymour is literally just like, death is good, actually.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's dead now. For real this time. Definitely dead. Una sent him. He's gone. I do wonder if maybe the fact that he kind of sucks is low-key intentional because of how easy that boss battle was.
Yeah. But like the boss battle is over-designed. It's just Nullblaze is literally nulling his Furagas. So it makes his default state is incredibly cheesable. But like I
can't believe I forgot to use Nullblaze.
Oh wow, you just tanked.
I thought of using it, but I didn't even get around to it because the amount of damage he was doing was just not that important.
Well,
yeah, it was pretty strong when I ran at it head first before using Nullblaze. But...
Yeah, he did a good amount of damage. Titus had something with Fire Eater on it. So he just got healed from that, which was great.
Was Yuna. For me, Yuna had a thing that was 3 of the 4 elements Eater.
Oh wow. God.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
She just fucking got that. I think an enemy just fucking dropped that or something. I don't know. It was wild.
Yeah, that's dope. I was thinking just now when we were talking about using summons to tank everything, I'm like, I should have just summoned Ifrit and just just like
because
healed.
What happens is he's got these big wheels. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning, and the wheels, there's 3 of them, and
there's 4 of them,
and each wheel has an element on it. And if you hit the wheel with physical or magic attacks, it rotates the wheel. And basically, the wheels, every turn, he takes 4 actions, and he casts 4 spells, 1 for each wheel. But that means that you get to pick what spells he's using.
Yeah.
So if you just outfit your characters all with Fire Eater, you can make all 4 of the wheels point to fire. So then all he does is cast fire at you. It's weird that you're deciding what his AI is and making it easy on yourself.
Yeah, and there's a part, like, after Ultima, all of the wheels turn, and you're like, oh, okay, this is where, like, I'm just beating him too fast. He's supposed to turn all the time, but they turn back to fire. Like, they're reset back to his default. And I'm like, why
did I
that? I beat him on the next turn, so...
Yeah, and so I was just like, oh, well... This felt like the Fortune boss in Persona 3, but not nearly as annoying because his default I could just heal from.
Yeah,
so.
Well, what would have made sense is if, like, every other turn one of the wheels rotated, so you would have to continue managing the wheels, and also his spells, like, do more damage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
if they all match it as a Ga spell instead of a Ra spell, if they mismatch, it's a Ra, but... Doesn't matter. It was about 2,000 damage for both, so it didn't matter.
That's what happened. So y'all kept saying it was Ga spells. So right at the beginning of the battle, I just figured if they don't match, he'll be weaker. So right off the bat, I made them be one of each element, and and then he was casting all Ra spells. And I didn't even realize he was supposed to cast Ga.
So wait, how did you make that happen?
Attack the wheels.
Oh, I didn't know you. Okay.
Yeah.
If you attack it with physical attacks, it rotates to the right. If you attack it with magic attacks, it rotates to the left.
I was not paying attention to that.
Yeah,
you hit like one of them. You hit one of them with physical twice. You hit one of them with physical once, and you hit one of them with magic once. And now they're all different elements. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
Okay,
but...
cool. I'm gonna fucking. It's the same thing as usual. I just have that stupid alarm that I always forget to turn off. We're good now. It's a very important alarm, which is why I should never actually turn it off. Is the thing. Yeah. It's to remind me to do something every single day that I have to do unless I'm podcasting. Anyway, it's this whole gimmick battle, but like, who cares? Because we just kicked his ass, right?
Yeah. If it would have been if they're aligned, he does Ultima, and like every 3 turns they change rotation or something. That would make it like a thing you engage with. But the fact that Eli didn't even realize they moved kind of says how they missed the mark and made it way too cheesable.
Yeah. Brief aside, I need to address something. I was going to address it earlier and I forgot. When we're fighting Sin's face, it actually took me like 5 tries to beat this boss. Even though I told you before, I didn't find him hard. Here's the reason why, okay? This game... Did y'all ever notice that Squaresoft games are impeccably well programmed?
Usually, yeah.
not counting that one time when they forgot what a whole stat did in FF6.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it before, but like they really are. Like you don't see like they're up there with Nintendo as far as like this game doesn't have glitches unless you're really trying to make it have glitches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like sure, Mario Odyssey has glitches if you're a speedrunner, but if you're a normal person, you might never see the game not work right.
Yeah,
you know, which is something I really value in Nintendo games, way more than most games. Anyway, this game is impeccably programmed. I pretty much never see anything weird happen except. I found one big, massive, annoying, and completely consistently repeatable bug.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
So I got all the optional summons, which I'll give a brief overview of later. The final summon in the game, by far the most OP summon in the game, insanely powerful, is called the Magus Sisters. The MAGA Sisters.
Oh God!
It's like that girl from that one university where her whole thing is that she's just like hot and posts pictures of her having guns, and she's like, "Are you triggered, libs?" She's not actually hot. She just is a very generic looking white brunette college girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's 3 of those, and they're all wearing MAGA hats, and their overdrive is super powerful, right? Of course, I'm fighting a boss where the whole point is you have limited turns to kill him, and also I have to overkill every boss because I'm me. So I get him down to like 5,000 HP, and I'm like, all right, time to overkill the bejesus out of this boss. So I summon the Magus Sisters, and I tell them to use their overdrive, and then the game just sits there. Soft locks. Like, the menu goes away because I made my menu choice, but it doesn't start doing the animation for the overdrive. It just chills, and it's almost like when it's trying to load something, you know, back when I was having loading problems on the PS3 version. So I let it sit there for a while and had to reset my game.
Well, that sucks.
So that was my first time fighting it. My second and third times, I actually got wrecked. I forget. I think he has maybe a confusion move or something. He has 1 or 2 status moves, and if you get really bad luck, they can fuck you up real bad.
Mm-hmm.
So he fucked me up really bad, like, twice. And then the 4th try, I finally got to the end again, and I thought, surely the same bug won't happen again. So I summoned Magus Sisters and used the overdrive, and the exact same thing happened.
What the fuck?
So then I played it a 5th time, and but at this point I kind of wanted to investigate. I was like, I could just kill him, yes, but A, I gotta get the overkill. B, I kind of want to see what's going on here. So I summoned Anima, which is another summon you can get. Oh yeah, you can get Anima. It's cool as hell.
Yeah,
and Anima's overdrive works fine.
As an aside, because you're not going to do it, Eli, because you have to do a lot of other things first.
Yeah.
But Anima's Faith is Seymour's mom, which is cool.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention in a bit. Yeah, so Anima's overdrive works just fine. So if you're playing this, don't use Magus Sisters' overdrive. Maybe don't use them at all. I only used their overdrive, but maybe don't use them at all against Sin's face. Don't do it. It'll soft lock your game, and you'll have to watch some cutscenes again because you're like me and you saved, watched some cutscenes, had a chance to save again, but didn't, and then fought the boss. And you did that 3 times before on your 4th time you realized, oh, I could save in between those cutscenes. That way I don't have to watch them a 5th time. So yeah, please do that. Also, I feel special. I found an actual repeatable bug. Square, pay me.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, don't do that. And that is it for the week. You run through another half of a dungeon, and at the end, you get to what you don't realize at the time is the final save point, like Sam was saying. If you walk slightly past that save point, a giant tower falls out of the sky, and they're like, we need to go there. And then you go back and you save again. And then if you go into that tower, you are at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You're at the Avengers end game. Like I will be in about 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it for the week. What are y'all's memorable moments?
I'm really liking Titus at this point. Like, I loved how he showed Yuna the sphere that he had, was like, "Hey, got your sphere," and he's just like, "Yeah, you don't need this anymore, so off it goes," and just threw it as far as he possibly could, and
what if it like landed on somebody and killed him? Some random Bavelian citizen, whack!
Oh my god!
Like a fucking bowling ball.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're huge. They've got to be at least kind of heavy.
Right.
I mean, if you consider like it's about the size of a video camera, which is essentially what it is, and video cameras are heavy as fuck.
Right.
So
how much do dead spirits weigh?
Yeah, how much does dead spirit magic water crystallized weigh?
That's a good point. But
we'll go on.
Yeah,
one
maybe
of
it's
those...
like really light plastic. It just goes boom, and bounces off.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And then they watch it and they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But
so
I really appreciate Titus's positivity and attitude and everything. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was gonna say a thing, but I think I feel that it's something that was out in the stratosphere, but it's technically something that happens next week, so I just wasn't going to say it.
Oh.
So I decided against it, just in case you don't know it, because, like I said, I feel it's something that everybody knows about this game, but I didn't want to.
Let's wait. On the subject of Titus, I was noticing something interesting, which is that we kept talking every week about how the point of the game is that he's not the main character.
Mm-hmm.
He is now, though.
Yeah.
He totally is. There's a scene on the ship where literally like he walks in and everyone looks at him.
Yeah.
And they're looking at him like, what are we gonna do? Like they're looking at him like, we're waiting for you to say something. And that's when I realized, oh, he's the main character now. But it's not because of fate or because he's the happy anime white boy. It's because he has a personal reason to be the main character.
Yeah.
Like, Yuna had her story, she made her decision, but now they're just deferring to Goku. Not, like they're giving him the respect of being their leader. He's not taking it.
Yeah.
They're like, Jecht is your dad. He's your dad. You have a personal stake in this. The fact that you have a personal stake in this is why it is going to be possible to win at all. Mm-hmm. Also, frankly, you did inspire us all to go in this direction. You're the hero now. It kind of reminds me of the not great overall movie, but whatever. The first Star Trek reboot with Jabrams.
Oh yeah.
When like half the movie is that like Kirk has to like earn the respect of his crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only after like, well, not exactly. He has to do a coup against Spock, but
as it happens.
Yeah, as it happens. But yeah, so after going through all this shit, now it's like, okay, now you can be the captain because you've earned it. And I think that's really cool. He has a good line later when they defeat the Finns, but after they defeat the Finns, Sid is like, fuck, the guns have stopped working. The guns don't work anymore. We're going to have to pull back. And Goku goes, no, when you've got the ball, you got to score.
Yeah. I love it.
Speaking in sports metaphors, so he's dad, basically.
Yeah.
And I guess since I just said two of mine, I've only got one more. Just God bless Shalinda.
Yeah, she's
so sweet. She says, I must be the rock that stands against swirling tides. She's just a good little Catholic girl who wants to do her best, even though she doesn't understand anything that's happening. So that's cool. What you got, Sam?
Let's see. I did. I think the only one I wrote down we already talked about, which was Micah sending himself, which just rocked.
Our owns.
Yeah, it's great. Other than that, like when I was telling Eli what to do, I had forgotten about most of it because, like, the fight with Sin, they spread out over like 4 boss fights. About 3 of them, you finish the boss fight, it puts you in the cockpit, and you walk back out to the deck, and you do that like 3 or 4 times. And so like that's all I remembered was doing that a lot, and then doing the dungeon, so it was there wasn't a whole lot this week. Though, let me see. I do have stuff that I had put from last time. Let me see if there's anything in there. I don't think so. You can say your last one though.
Oh, I don't have a last one. I was just gonna say I was gonna share a few of the just a few tiny plot morsels from some of the side questing I did.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, there was one thing from last time. So when the airship shows up, when Sin just is like out there sulking, and then the Fahrenheit shows up, it seems completely out of nowhere if you're like me and didn't grab any of the Albed primers. But if you had grabbed them in the Calmlands, when you run to the Albed, they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad you're alive. If you ever need anything, we'll bring you the airship." And I, of course, knew none of that, and so just like, how did they know that we're here? And then it would have made sense if you'd been good. Yeah, that's the only bit.
Actually, one more memorable moment. Amazing FMV. Just an amazing visual moment. When you go up on the deck before you fight his face, and I saw this cutscene like 5 times for the aforementioned reasons. There's this great scene where it's an FMV of Sin like rousing himself, and then there's a really, really, really far off shot of Tidus, and then the camera really quickly zooms in on his face and zooms all the way into his eye, and then once it gets into his eye, it does like a zoom out of Sin again, because they're staring each other down, and then it has a super wide shot of both of them from super a long way away, with Tidus in very small on the left, and then Sin very large looming in the right, and the colors are great, and it's just like, yeah, like there's so much symbolic weight going on here, and it's beautiful, and it's so... What a weird game. It's like, here's this guy about to kill a god monster that's also his dad. So, real quick. The only plot morsel that really matters is, you get Seymour's mom is Anima. You actually talk to her, and she's like, not really the biggest fan of you, because she loves her little boy. But she's also like, yeah, I guess I gotta admit my son kind of went crazy, and it's low-key kind of my fault. I should have just been his mom instead of wanting to be an Aeon. Also, all the racism. Please take my power and go kick his ass, basically. Actually, no, he went mad with power. So once he got her as his summon, he went mad with power. Another little tidbit, if you go to Guado Land, you find something out. You find out that, remember way back in Luca, when you're doing sports, and then all the monsters show up, and everyone's like, what? But Luca has all these weapons. How could Sin have shown up? And they never really addressed that. Or how could the monsters have shown up? Yeah, that was Seymour. Seymour did that on purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew about that one.
Seymour had the Guados secretly release all of those fiends.
Hey,
into
we're
the stadium,
releasing fiends over here.
so that he could show up and impress everybody. So it was a psyop. Seymour did 9/11. So you find that out. Yeah, and other than that stuff, if I've forgotten interesting plot morsels, maybe I'll bring them up next time. But that's basically it. So I want to give a brief overview, if it's okay with y'all, of side quest stuff. Should anyone feel like doing it?
Yeah.
So there's a few big, large key side quest thingies. Where is it? Yeah. First we'll do optional Aeons. There's 3. First, you go through the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. That's the cave that's down right next to Mount Gagazet. It's not hard at all, but you do need a lot of money to buy Yojimbo. Yojimbo's great. I have nothing against him. He fucking rules, but really he's just there because you need him to get another Aeon later. Yeah. Next is Baj Temple. When you get to the airship and you can pick all your locations, you can pick Baj Temple. Turns out that's the opening of the game, the ruined place that Tidus has to go through for a while. You can go back there, which is fun. No random battles, which is also fun. That monster, there's always a bigger fish that tried to kill him and he got away from it. You can fight him. He's a lot stronger than he was in that cutscene. He's really, really, really strong. I don't know how much damage he does, but he has...
Oh, we lost you again, Maddie.
That wasn't my fault, that was a telemarketer. I don't know how much damage he does, but he definitely has Stone Touch and Death Touch.
Yikes.
And the Stone Touch doesn't just stone you, but shatters you.
Oh.
So if you want to fight him, he's an easy battle if you... So he doesn't have a lot of HP. So all you have to do is be able to survive for just like a couple fucking turns. Especially if you use Riku's trio of 9999 move, which is what I did. Because if everyone's hitting him for 9999, you have to hit him like 4 or 5 times. And do haste, right? And also you have to fight him with just Riku and Tidus and Waka, because it's underwater.
Yeah.
So anyway, what you could do is, if you don't have any stone-proof armor, go to Kilika Forest, where you can steal stone-proof items from enemies, and steal enough to craft at least one of your people to be protected. I had one person stone-proof, one person stone ward, and one person death-proof, or death ward. I just thought that seems good enough. I'll hope the RNG is on my side. I beat him on my first try. There's a few reasons why I want to beat this guy. First reason, he has 2 random drops. I didn't realize this till later, but I'm going to share my knowledge with you. One of his random drops is a weapon with no random battles ability.
Nice.
Wow.
So, if you want to go do any other side quests in this game, it might be nice to have no random battles. If he doesn't drop that, reset and try again. Second thing is, if you go slightly farther, you can get the Aeon Anima. You can get Anima. You have to have gotten all of the special items from all of the temples previously. So if you were following a guide and getting those, you're good. If you're not, sorry, you're screwed, because it's the International Edition, so now those are now guarded by Dark Aeons, which are goddamn impossible.
Yep.
If you get Anima, who is great, you then go to Remiem Temple, which is that temple you have to get to with the Chocobo outside the Calmlands. Fight what's-her-name a few more times. Use a hidden item that you may have missed. I forget how to get it. It's very easy. It's not hard to get this item.
It's one of the items they give you for catching animals.
That's right. And it's like the second or third. It's like you don't need a lot. Anyway, then you get Magus Sisters. And Magus Sisters are just outrageously OP and will destroy anything. So if you want to fight any hidden bosses or are severely underleveled and you need them to defeat the actual final boss, that's going to be an awesome thing to do. The second thing you can do is to get the Celestial Weapons.
Don't do that. It takes too long.
Probably don't do that, but let me remind myself real quick just to make sure. Yeah, okay, here's the thing. Yuna's is outrageously easy to get.
You said that about...
No, you need Magus Sisters. Sorry.
Yeah.
You need Magus Sisters. So if you can get Magus Sisters, you can get Yuna's Celestial Weapon. So there you go.
Yeah. But you really don't need them. They're the Ultima weapon for this game. Like Tidus's in every language but English is actually Ultima weapon.
Yeah.
It's Kaldabog or Khalid Fuelts or something, and it's cool. But you don't really need them. They trivialize the end of the game, but they're not. They're not needed.
Yeah. So if you, I'll just tell you the ones that are complete horseshit are Tidus's, because you have to do Chocobo racing, Lulu's because you have to dodge lightning, and Waka's because you have to do Blitzball.
Yeah.
The other ones are all reasonable, so if you're enjoying the game, look up how to get them. It's kind of low-key fun. Oh, also Kimari's. Kimari's is not hard to get, but it's Kimari. Who gives a shit?
The butterflies are impossible. I don't care what anyone says.
They're hard. It took me a bit, but like they're not as hard as dodging 200 lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, sorry, I just thought I'd give that. That's my overview. Oh, sorry. Also, the most important thing is if you catch a bunch of monsters, it'll give you some items. Just go on the internet yourself and look it up, because there's a bunch of different ways to add the skill double AP, the skill triple AP, and the skill convert overdrive meter into AP. There's various ways to get all three of those weapons that have those abilities. If you get those, then you're gonna be rolling in the AP like no one's fucking business.
Yeah, the main point of doing side quests, if you decide to do side quests because you can't beat Sen, like I recommend, if you don't want to do side quests, try and beat him a couple of times. He's not really hard. At his form change, he just does a move that wiped my party, and there's nothing I could do defend against that, but I wasn't using a summon, which is what they're made for, is to be a meat shield. So you can probably just get through it if you jump at it, but if you're like, this is hard, I want out, the only thing that you're gunning for is one of the 3, double, triple, or overdrive to AP. Then when you get overdrive to AP, you just put them onto warrior to deal damage, and then you just do your normal fights, and you deal enough damage, and it'll give you the AP. So that's all you're gunning for. Catching the animals is the easiest, because you wipe the floor with literally the first 6, and you just need 6 to get to that one. So you just put it on, and then walk from Besaid to Luca, and you got it.
Yeah, and also that's also why we get celestial weapons. They break the damage cap, which is great. That's why I had Aaron doing almost 99,999 damage against the final battle. But really, it's because all the celestial weapons have double AP on them.
Yeah.
Actually, not all of them. Orange doesn't. It's annoying. Also, one more quick tip. Sorry. Check all of your weapons right now, because enemies drop weapons all the time, and you don't. If you're me, you don't bother looking at them eventually. You're just like, I don't have time to sort through all this. Look at every character's weapons and see, because you might already have a double AP. Lulu just had one. I don't know where she got it.
Yeah.
So my Lulu just had double AP, and I also gave her overdrive to AP, and that's why she was like level 1 billion. So go through all of your equipment and see if you have anything real good like that, just in case.
Yeah. But yeah, the final boss is hard, but he's doable. He's definitely harder than the Nyx fight, because this game has a Nyx fight. But I feel he's not as hard as Unalesca if you didn't cheese Unalesca like we all did.
Yeah. But it's I don't want to mislead anybody into getting their ass kicked and being frustrated. But on the other hand, I don't want y'all to be like scared, because it's really you're going to be fine.
Yeah, because so the main thing you can do to see if you're capable, if you can do more than 3,000 damage per turn and heal everybody for about 2,000 damage per turn, and also heal and or be proof for petrify, you got it in the bag. Like that's really the main things, is he has 2 things that can heal 1,500 each that can go off each turn, and then his big fuck you move does about 2,000 damage. So if you can absorb all of those things, it might be a war of attrition and take a while, but you can do it.
Yeah,
no big deal.
You'll be okay. I believe in you.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're done for the week. Let's talk about next week real quick. So next week we're literally just being the final boss. We're also watching. Well, no, we won't talk about that. You mean the Eternal Calm thing? We're watching Eternal Calm. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, so we'll watch the Eternal Calm. We should all have it in our thing. It's just it's a connective tissue between X and X2, but it's cool. It's like 25 minutes, right? Yeah, so we'll just watch that and talk about it. I don't know if it'll be anything like worth talking about, or if it's just fan servicey stuff, but I don't think any of us have seen it, so. I only remember one thing about it, and it's really stupid, and I don't want to say it because it's actually a big spoiler. So I won't say it, but it's funny. So for the fans out there, that's it. Beat the game. Watch Eternal Calm. If you're not playing a version of the game that has Eternal Calm, watch it on YouTube. I'm sure it's on YouTube, right? It's not that hard. It's probably on YouTube. And that's it. And look into acquiring Dragon Quest V. It shouldn't be hard. Is it on Android? Yeah, it's on Android and iOS. That version is probably the best version now, but I understand if people don't like gaming on their phone. So the next best version would be the DS version, followed by PS2. Lastly would be Super NES, and it's not just because of graphical fidelity. The Super NES has a lot of like gameplay changes. Like you only have 3 party members on the Super NES, and Dragon Quest is kind of cemented that they have 4 party members. Yeah, every Dragon Quest game have 4 to 5 members. It's weird that you only have 3 and 5. Yeah, so it's a lot harder for a lot of stupid reasons on the Super NES. And then also the PS2 and DS versions have party chat, so you can talk to your party constantly, and they don't have that in the Super NES. So almost all of the characterization comes from that party chat,
So if you're like, oh, I'm going to just play the Super NES version, you're like, Bianca is boring, I don't like her, and we love Bianca, we probably had party chat, and that's why we like Bianca.
Also, in case you're curious, unlike a lot of games where they let other companies do ports and stuff, and they just add dumb shit that no one wanted or cares about, and it seems fanfiction-y, the core Dragon Quest team, including Yuji Horii, who's the lead writer for Dragon Quest, they make all the remakes. So, like, any new plot content in a remake of Dragon Quest was probably written by Yuji Horii, which is really cool. Yeah. Anyway, pick your poison. Again, you should either get the DS version or the iOS version.
Yeah, they're great. But yeah.
Alrighty, yeah, we're done skis. Next week, beat the goddamn game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any final thoughts, Eli?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Looking forward to being done with this because it still hasn't fully clicked for me. Like, I like the characters and everything, but it's never felt like Final Fantasy.
Yeah. We'll definitely dig into that because that's the of the things you've said about on this podcast. That's one of the weirdest ones, and so I'll really like to dig into that and see what your thoughts are. So,
also, fun fact: doesn't feel like Final Fantasy. Welcome to the rest of the Final Fantasy series, starting with this one.
Yeah.
10, 12, 15, 13. Actually, 13 does, but that's the problem with it. Anyway, it's like, I think that's it. This is the point where they're like, yeah, Final Fantasy is just nothing now. It's whatever the fuck we want to do now.
Yeah, like when they start, like, Final Fantasy's thing has been reinventing the wheel every time, which is true, but they've reinvented the wheel on the same car before. They had reinvented the whole car and garage and road system.
FF10 is like, it's a truck now.
Yeah.
FF13 was like, it's a hot lady that transforms into a motorcycle now.
Yeah.
That's an actual reference to a thing that happens in that game, in case you're curious.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's like this one feels the most like this one felt like coming home to a Final Fantasy because I've lived through 12 and 13 and 15. So it's weird that this one feels so different for you. And so
but bear in mind that I haven't played anything past 6 unless you count 14, which I don't because it's an MMO, or Tactics Advance, which is
although aesthetically 14 is much more like the classic ones.
Oh yeah.
Aesthetically.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I'll be interested to digging into where that fell apart for you, which will be exciting.
It's very interesting. I want to talk all up and down and around it right after we kill our dad. All right, see you all next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Wait. Oh, we gotta do the ending. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was about to do it.
Sam, you do it.
Okay. And if you like what you hear and you want to chat with us, there are a couple of ways you can do that. You can hit me up on Twitter at RPG Book Club. I use it way more than my personal because I follow cool people on ours, and it's just me. And I keep accidentally like doing Homestuck and Star Wars things on it, but it's okay. Like, just know that that's me. But you can send us an email at rpgbookclub@gmail.com, or you can chat with us on our Discord, which will have a link in the description. And if you want to help us pay for things, our Ko-Fi is completely live now, because as of this morning, the Best of the Rest is over, so Patreon is dead, and it'll die forever. So if you want to help us out, head over to our Ko-Fi, which is ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub, and help us buy a little bit of a video game, and that'd be really cool. I was about 15 minutes away from finishing the Dragon Quest video for the JRPG canon, but when we had to record, so here in about 15 minutes I'll finish it, render it, and it'll be up later today. And so if you donate on the Ko-Fi, I will put a backer only post that has a link to it, so go and back us and you can check it out. But,
also, I think we should mention, just in case someone's, I don't know, just tuning in, or if they've somehow lost the manual and the game disc and their console and their memories, if you donate to our shit, you get to vote on our next game.
Oh,
that's not happening right now because we just finished voting.
Yeah.
But usually,
here in about
that's what happens.
3 or 4 weeks, it looks like, will be the next round of voting.
You know, there's a chance that people aren't aware of that. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it, is that's where the polls are. And
not counting this time because it was special. Not counting this time, it's always 2 different games.
Yeah.
You pick 2 games on a theme. You vote on one of the 2 games. That's the next game that we play. You run our lives.
Yeah, and here in the next couple of weeks, we'll do a big refresh on all of those things because we need to replace our intro because it's not true anymore. So we'll do that soon. But
there we go.
Yeah, I will say that I've done mock-ups of the new polls using Google Forms, and it's pretty and it's cool, and I'm excited for you guys. It makes me look professional, even though Google did all the work. But,
hell yeah.
Yeah, for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I've been Maddie Lorraine Webbin.
Ooh.
I'm workshopping it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Bye, everybody.
Toodaloo.
Bye.